Hey everyone, Chandler here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a range fade off the highs of this range forming here on the S&P. Very blatantly obvious range that's formed so far. So let me get my stop in place here. Oh, I don't want to add more up there. I want to place my stop up there, and there we go. So our stop is going to go at 95.75. It's a 4-point stop, and I'm looking for a large move back down to these range lows. So the first objective is going to be right around support that we have here at 85.25. But because we have to use a little bit of a larger stop on this setup, I'm going to be looking to take everything off at these lows down here. So we'll bump that up down at 80.5, and that's going to be our target. So from our entry point here, we're looking for a move down to get that low at 80.5, and that's going to be an 11.25 point target versus a 4-point stop. So beautiful risk reward on the setup. Everything is looking really, really good. Now we just have to wait for the market to turn around. It's very slow so far this morning. If we zoom out, you can blatantly see this range here. Very, very obvious range going back and forth. Anticipating, just like we saw down here, a failure to break higher and a rotation back up to the other side of the range. We're now breaking out through the highs, assuming that this is going to fail to rotate that back down. So we'll give it a little bit of time here. I'm assuming that we're probably going to be a little bit slow. We do have larger news coming out later today. That's going to be in the afternoon, the FOMC numbers. So we could be chopped up until then. It might start moving after the open at 9:30. Just kind of remains to be seen, but I'm definitely not expecting this to go all in one move. So we'll give it a little bit of time here and start seeing if we can get that drive lower and get our target filled back at range lows at 80.5. All right, we're seeing a beautiful drive lower here after a ridiculous amount of time. It's kind of anticipated on this kind of day, but we're finally pushing into our target here at 80.5. We've been in this one, we got in at 8:40, and now we're pushing on 10:15. So we've been sitting in this one for a very long time. Our target hasn't moved once, so we should be pretty close to the front of the line. We'll see if they can get us filled here. If it taps us and doesn't fill us, I'll only give them a little bit more time, just given how choppy we are. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they will get us filled down here at 80.5 because they're going to want to actually physically test the range lows down here. But we've been in line for a very long time, so I've got to imagine we're pretty close to the front here. Gorgeous rejection down. Now that we've come so close to our target, I don't want to give any of this back. And I like this little bounce that we had at support there, 85.25, and a complete rejection there. So I'm going to lock my stop down nice and tight. 86.25 is going to be stop. That way, if we do get whipped out of the trade, we're looking at 5.5 points at minimum just to get a nice target in there. So looking for a little more continuation. We can see that they're attempting to get stuck at that prior little swing right there. They're trying to trap underneath that. If that does end up being the case, we may have to move the target up a little bit or maybe split it in half and take some profit off there. But overall, looking for continued movement down to 80.5 to get our target filled. Beautiful bear movement once we finally broke loose. The news actually spiked it a little bit higher, and it would have whipped out a lot of people on that. They would have been a little nervous there, right? You have that nice move down. We're finally seeing rejection, and then it snaps higher. You can feel the pain of anyone who got stopped out there before seeing it drop 12 points back down to the lows. So it does happen on the S&P sometimes, especially around the open. So we'll just see if we can get that target filled. We're only about 2 ticks away off of this candle's low. Again, we've been in this one for a huge amount of time, so I've got to imagine we're pretty close to the front of the line, but the S&P doesn't always like to fill to the tick. That's just kind of how the S&P works. So we'll give it, and we did, perfect. So 80.5, we get that target filled. It paid to wait in line for 2 hours, it seems. So beautiful move down. We get the target filled at 80.5. If you didn't get filled on that one, let's say you got in a little bit later, I doubt many people were filled on that one. I still think that they're going to try to get down and actually physically test that as well as grind down to that low of day. But a lot of times with these ranges, they want physical tests of those levels. So we got the target filled there at 80.5. Beautiful move. They're testing it again. Lots of people are going to be getting filled on that move down. So that's going to do it for me. Phenomenal move down all the way lower. And as you saw on the profit on the way down, beautiful trade too. That's 2,250 on the trade at 12.50 a tick. That means that we pulled out 180 ticks on that move lower. So gorgeous rundown. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.